Mr. Tommy Curran, how are we doing today?
I'm great. I'm not sure which direction you're going to go, but it's funny. I'd love to pick up where Andy just left off with the notion of urgency and the fact that this is developmental year.
That's exactly where I was going to start, so why don't you just go ahead? Let's pretend,
the floor is yours.
Let's pretend I just asked a really good question, Tommy, and you go ahead and answer it, yeah.
And I wasn't a dink about whatever you asked me and the way you asked me and everything else. Yeah,
right.
Good. That way I can not be a dink.
Perfect.
I think that's something that really occurred to me this week when May played at the level he did. He's ready. He's ready to win. He's ready to lead a team. And I talked to people this week, and they said, hey, look, there were plenty of things he could have done a little bit better out there that you might not be noticing as a layperson. And I do defer to that. But if he can put on a Superman cape for a team that is this completely lacking in talent and dominate a game in a way that very few can single-handedly do it. And I'm not comparing him to Brady, always that caveat, in a way that Brady necessarily couldn't do in the exact same fashion. Then the urgency should be on everyone right now. There is no slow build-up that they needed to and wanted to engage in. I was talking week 13 or 14, maybe sometime in December, bring May in. He's ready now. So this should be a clarion call to ownership that if they have misgivings about offensive coordinators, wide receiver coaches, head coaches, defensive coordinators, direction of the team, GM, college director of player personnel, whoever, act on it. Don't give it another year to, well, maybe if he has another year without Bill around, he'll look a little bit better. No, you've already tried to see how everyone flourished post-Bill. You get 1 year to do that. And if you haven't done it by December, maybe don't pay your rent for January.
So, Tom, you bring up all of those guys that could be in the crosshairs of a exit interview type situation in January. The one that resonates with me, and I didn't see this coming from my own vantage point, is Elliott Wolf, because I wasn't one of those that was like, oh, you kept around a guy that was already in the building. That's just so dumb. You should have gone and got a GM. I thought this guy had a pretty good resume. He was kind of born and bred for this lifestyle and the father, the whole thing. And yet, when I look back on it now and I look at everything not named Drake Maye that occurred last March and April, I'm thoroughly unimpressed. And heading into what I now deem the latest, most important offseason in Patriots history to surround Drake Maye with talent, right?
Yeah, they all, at this point, they're all vital.
Absolutely. And this is the latest, most important offseason. I'm feeling less confident in saying, Elliott Wolf, here's $140 million. Here's the number 3 pick in the draft. Let's go surround Drake with stuff that'll make him good. Do you have similar trepidation at this point? And do you think internally there will be trepidation there?
I have had that for months. I have had that since he sat there at that pre-draft press conference and acted as if he had no concept of what it meant when people said the Patriots are not built to draft a quarterback right now. They should build around him. I can understand disagreeing with it because you see somebody like a Drake Maye who could be a phenomenal player and be the tide that lifts all boats. But to pretend that that's an off-the-wall suggestion, which, yeah, it was my suggestion, but I think other people think it too, is ludicrous. What does that? He said, what does that mean that you're not ready to support a quarterback? And he went on in that answer to say that he had NFL-level wide receivers, NFL-level offensive linemen, and he went on to proceed after the draft to say how good Chuks Okorafor or Caden Wallace could be at the left tackle position, though neither had played there. He was part of the decision-making processes since he's gotten here that helped drive this roster to 31st or 32nd in the NFL. So he's on watch virtually more than anyone. I just don't think that I don't think ownership feels the same level of urgency and dismay with him. That if you really parse the decisions he's made, you look at it and say, what is he doing? Does he know what he's doing? So, I'll say I think that if you have another top 5 pick and you have $130 million worth of cap space and you can't just re-sign all your own guys again. You have to make a trade. If you can't find anyone in free agency, and I don't blame him for the free agency haul that he didn't have, in part because it was not a good free agency crop. But if you can't conjure up a trade, conjure up some better middle-class players on your team, see you later.
We're talking with Tommy Curran, NBC Sports Boston, in Quick Slants. And, Tom, in your Quick Slants poll this week, I thought it was a very interesting one. They're all interesting. I like this one, though. It was about the three rookie quarterbacks who were drafted 1, 2, 3. And do you think the Patriots drafted the right one? Would you rather have Maye? Would you rather have Williams? How did you vote in that? And I think Maye was like a runaway winner at like 66% or something. How would you vote in that? And do you think that the people voting in it were lying to themselves?
I think recency bias might have entered into it if it had been the week before when poor Drake got concussed and Jaden Daniels threw a Hail Mary touchdown to win a game. It probably would have been a much closer race. I think Maye had like 63% of the vote, then Daniels had 35, and Williams had like 4. But I think Maye is the best fit for this team. I think Maye's build, his physical toughness, his mental toughness, what appears to be an unbelievably non-eccentric, non-self-focused ability as a teammate continues to set him apart from, what we would generally call the millennial athlete. I haven't seen him on social media really at all. I haven't heard a peep from any of those types of things. And
He's Gen Z, by the way. He's not a millennial. He's too young for millennial. He's Gen Z, I think.
Maybe you're right. I don't know. All I know is I'm Generation X, and we've hosted everybody. Just minding our own business, being quiet, and hosting the whole country. So I think that he is the best fit for this team at this time. He's probably not the most talented or polished right now, but to be able to endure the physical and mental aspects of being in this city for the next, hopefully, 4 to 10 years, he's the right guy.
So where do we go from here? Because I agree with you. Everybody, I love Drake Maye. I love his attitude. I love talking to him on Mondays. I think it comes naturally, the leadership, everything. And then I look at everything else not named Gonzo, and there's just nothing there. And there's a half a season to play, and they're moving Mike Onwenu to yet another position in the offensive line. He's got to run around for 12 seconds while Michael Jordan hops up and down and looks in circles. Like, where does this offense and team go over the second half of the season to make sure you're trying to develop Drake Maye without getting him killed?
Friend, find your Logan Mankins, find your Matt Light, find your better, more. If you have to spend a crap ton of money on some of the best position coaches ever to grace the planet, do it. Because it's coaching. It's coaching at the wide receiver position right now. I think Scott Peters has done a good job with the absolute stack of below average players he's gotten. And God bless them, they've tried. But they need to spend their draft picks on mean, smart, nasty, big, physical offensive linemen.
But how do we get to the finish line? Important. I agree with you on all of that. The problem is we got to put Drake Maye out there for the next 2.5 months. Like,
you mean the immediate? What are you going to do now?
Yeah, like
how do you spread? You just do run and shoot. You just go run and shoot.
Because I really,
I'm serious.
He is the centerpiece of the offense. We were just talking about it. He's one of the best running quarterbacks in this short span, and mostly because he's running for his life. I have no faith in his receivers, not named Hunter Henry, and the running game isn't what it was supposed to be, so therefore there's no play-action game. They were supposed to be a screen team, but they can't screen. It's almost like I really don't know what to do to have any hope for Drake Maye to succeed and survive for the next 2.5 months.
I'd go run and shoot. I honestly would. I would use a ton of spread. I would use a ton of no huddle, 2 minute. And, so we went 3-0 with 3 incompletions. Sorry. You know what? We're going to have a 3rd overall pick. We're not going to have another stupid running play, as Eddie Duckworth used to call him. He's ASRP, another stupid running play. Not going to do that in the middle of the line. So you're in 3rd and 8, and then it's a free-for-all for poor Drake Maye. You spread it out. You throw, and if you have to punt, get it to Bryce, let him punt, play defense. And your defense can't stop anybody? No, it's too bad. You lost 41-10. Big deal.
All right, before we let you go, Tommy, it's time for the flex
I mean,
of the
is
game.
that crazy?
No,
Is that
it's not
totally
crazy. That
No.
is not crazy.
No, it's not crazy.
It's what they're doing right now.
It's
You
what
just
they are.
Continue doing it. Yeah.
Right.
Don't pretend you're something that you're not. It's like, I'm going to try and dunk. No, you can't. Stop doing that.
All right, it's time for the flex of the game presented by FlexCar. Ditch the dealership, save thousands with FlexCar. It's the flex of the game on Sunday in Chicago here, Tommy.
The flex of the game is for one time the Patriots to stop being the magic elixir for every team that's down on its luck. Think about it. 52-14 was what happened the week before to
Tennessee. Yeah.
who the Patriots just lose to.
Yeah, you told us when the
Titans.
teams that play the Lions always
Titans,
lose the next
yeah.
week or something.
Okay, so the Titans have lost 52-14. Yeah, I did. That was the flex last week. The Niners were down on their luck. The Jacksonville Jaguars were on the verge of quitting. The Miami Dolphins had like 4 yards of offense in a primetime game. Each one of those teams got across the lines from the Patriots and needed something good to happen, and it happened. This week you have the Chicago Bears, who lost 29-9. You have players openly, DJ Moore, saying, have you guys quit on your coach? He said, I'm not going to say no. Well, that's a bad sign. So will the Patriots, for once, not be the magic elixir for a team down on its luck? They're going to flex up and not let that happen. That's the flex of the game.
All right, that's Tommy Curran. Thanks so much for the time today. Always good to talk with you, and we'll talk to you Sunday for sure on Football Sunday here on WEI.